Hey everybody, welcome back to Nintendad. I'm your host, Abram Buehner, and I'm joined by Tucker Hazell. And today we're talking about the brand new Paper Mario game, Paper Mario: The Origami King, which just got announced this morning on Twitter and YouTube. Now, Tucker, I'm going to be honest, kind of a strange way to announce a new game, and very last minute because, of course, this game is coming out in July. So Nintendo really threw a real slider at us with this morning.
Sure.
This announcement for me raises a lot of questions. But what it does also is it cements to me that they clearly don't want to have anything to do with Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. So that's very
Mm,
interesting.
yeah.
So I think one thing that I learned today is I can no longer expect anything out of Nintendo other than random trailers on random Thursday mornings, including possibly some Metroid sometime this year. But Tucker, I want to start this discussion by talking first about the announcement itself.
Yeah, so I saw this trailer a little bit after it came out. I saw a message about it, and I didn't believe that it was real, to be honest. I saw someone say, new Paper Mario game. Like, yeah, people say that in every possible Nintendo conversation that they can have. There will be a new Paper Mario game. Will it be a Thousand Year Door remake? No, it won't. But I saw that, I thought it was fake, and then I went to the YouTube channel, and sure enough, there was a trailer. So I watched the trailer, and as someone who has never once in his life played a Paper Mario game, doesn't really care about the series at all, I think this game looks absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to try it and get my first Paper Mario experience.
Now this is wonderful. This actually makes me very happy because you've never played Paper Mario, and my favorite Paper Mario game, having played all of them, is Sticker Star. So we are two very blasphemous individuals to discuss this franchise today. But Tucker, to really understand my opinion on this game, we got to rewind a little bit, but not rewind to past games. Not we got to rewind about 5 or so hours to when this announcement happened. I was at work. I work excavation. I was in a trench, a literal trench. I was digging a hole. I saw the message that there's a new Paper Mario game, but I couldn't watch a trailer. I had no information. I had no way to get information until it was my lunch break. So all morning I was just thinking to myself and asking questions. I was wondering, okay, is this a Thousand Year Door sequel? Does it have partners? Does it have RPG mechanics? Is it another adventure game? What is this? So I hyped this up for myself like a ton. My productivity tanked. I was muttering to myself about Paper Mario digging a hole. Just real facts about my life. So I come home and I watch a trailer for the Origami King, and immediately my expectations were put in check because Paper Mario, this might be a hot take, but it's not an A tier franchise, it's not a B tier franchise. I put it around C tier. And for me, this looks like the same thing that Sticker Star was for me, that Super Paper Mario was for me, that Color Splash was for me. A really polished and clever and creative and fun looking game that's not going to knock my socks off. I
Hmm.
watched that trailer and it's like, this looks fun and looks cute. And I think that it doesn't seem to be anything more than a lateral movement from the past games. I don't see a lot of growth here. I just see a new Paper Mario adventure, which is fun, but it doesn't do a ton for me.
No, yeah, I think that that's totally reasonable, especially in a very unique position that you're in your Paper Mario opinions.
I thought you
Uh,
meant a unique position geographically because I was in a trench.
yes, and in your mind, which
That's
is,
true.
who knows where that is. But I think that there's a lot in the trailer that gets me excited. I don't remember seeing the other Paper Mario trailers when they happened, so I don't really have any notion of how the hype was before those games came out. This one is going to be very different because of the short turnaround time, and also just because it's the Switch, and this is going to be a lot bigger of a release because it's really the first major game that's coming out this year after Animal Crossing.
It's funny you say that because I think this is actually important context and why the announcement is so interesting. We're going to do a little bit of a history lesson, so I'm going to turn my cap around. It's my college hat. It makes me look more professional if it's facing forward. I want to talk to you a little bit about Color Splash. Color Splash got announced in a Nintendo Direct randomly. Literally, I think it was Reggie, it might have been someone else who was like, oh, and here's a brand new game. And then they showed a trailer for Color Splash and moved on. People were not happy about that because after Sticker Star, of course, people have wanted the series to course correct, quote unquote, even though I love that game. Um, and that trailer got disliked into oblivion. It was
Mm.
a similar short turnaround time. It was a little bit longer than what we have here, 2 months, but it was announced in 2016, released in 2016, and people hated that trailer. It was a super negative dislike to like ratio. But this actually, as of right now, people are really high on it, at least on YouTube. And typically that bar for Paper Mario stuff gets trashed. So it's very interesting to me to see not only Nintendo just drop this on a Thursday morning out of nowhere, but for people to actually be receptive to it after Color Splash, especially considering this isn't the return to form that even some rumors are saying we're going to get.
Yeah.
But what's interesting to me is that this is going to be your first Paper Mario game, and you saw the trailer and you thought it looked fantastic. So I want to know why.
I think for me, it's just the fact that I haven't played one and I'm actually interested in getting this one as I own a Switch and I had heard mixed things about Color Splash, so I wasn't interested in it. I'm gonna wait for reviews. I'm not getting this day one. But I am interested in playing it. I think for me, it's the um one watching the trailer and not being familiar with much of the gameplay and visuals and stuff of the past games. I know Color Splash looked really good, and it had decent reviews. People thought that game was okay, definitely better than Sticker Star. Um, I think that the traveling around the overworld, there's all sorts of like interesting locales that they're visiting. I think the animations look fantastic. It has a strangely epic like battle sense going on with airship fights and going like set pieces of going down waterfalls and all sorts of craziness. I think the creativity in terms of the origami is a cool way to take the Paper Mario formula. They kind of have a new take on it each time. Stickers, paint, origami. I think that'll be fun. I think they can definitely do some stuff with that. And I think for me, it's just the fact that um, it might fix problems. It might introduce new things. I think this is a very bare bones trailer. That was one of my first thoughts watching it. Is this is not a very exciting trailer. It just is a trailer of mixed gameplay clips, um, and cutscenes and stuff. Not really a clear storyline, other than that there is a bad Origami King. There isn't really big heavy hitter moments except for the fact that it was revealed. That is the only like super exciting thing about this trailer.
Because I think that's really cool that you're so into it. But for me, I really didn't get the same sense from that trailer that you did. The one thing I think you're totally right about is that this trailer was very weird and clearly did not have a lot of production value behind it. It kind of confirms to me, which I want to talk about later, one rumor that people say that there's going to be no E3 showcase because Nintendo doesn't know how to do a direct from home. This trailer basically confirms that to me because this trailer is just not very good.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, it's just somebody stitching together gameplay, which is fine. And I think to be totally expected with everything going on in the world right now. But for the actual game itself, the origami thing didn't stand out that strongly to me. This really doesn't look that much different visually than Color Splash to me. And even in Sticker Star, there's one enemy, the Ninja, who literally origami folds himself into a throwing star to attack Mario. So this to me doesn't feel like as big of a leap forward visually or in terms of like the aesthetic gimmick as either Color Splash or Sticker Star did. Even Super Paper Mario had its own sort of feel to it, and of course the first two games. But I do agree that it does feel very big. I like how many set pieces there are. There's so many interesting, like there's that big turtle guy that jumps out of the, was that lava or something? The game, I love how it plays with its aesthetic, and I think it's going to be a really fun adventure game, which the last two have been. Um, my question though is just how engaged I'm actually going to be by it, because I do think that the first two Paper Mario games are fine. Mechanically, I think they're worse versions of Mario and Luigi. Don't shout at me. Or do. Maybe that'll give the video good engagement. But the point is, I think that moving Paper Mario away from being just another RPG when there's already a Mario RPG that is pretty much objectively more mechanically complex is a good idea. But I feel like depending on the gimmick, the gameplay just doesn't hook me as much sometimes. So seeing that trailer, it seems like it has fun moments and a lot of fun personality, but I don't know if it actually has enough to make me want to get all the way through it.
Mm-hmm. I think that's something that we'll have to wait and see. And I'm feeling similar to you. Is I don't know how excited I'm gonna be by it. I have no experience with Paper Mario. The gameplay, or the battle, which we'll get into in a second, is so different that I don't know. It's entirely new battle system for video games, essentially, which could be really cool and might actually make it more engaging than we're giving it credit for. But I think that they balanced this trailer so strangely and focused on the exploration and snippets of dialogue and set pieces that the core thing that people are excited about or interested about, the battle system, was given a backseat in a really strange way. There was only like two-second clips
Yeah.
of battle, although there are some other longer clips floating out there which don't do a lot to explain. Because I think that there is going to be more mechanical depth in the combat than it appears from the trailer. I think that there is going to be a system for partners. I think that Card Bowser, I think Kamek, I think Bob-omb, I think the little origami sprite, I think they'll all somehow fit into the combat as
There actually has been a little clip that's been posted online. I don't know, this might have come from a different Regions trailer, but I think Stealth 40K on Twitter, if you're not following him, you should. He was talking about it. You see a Toad who's in like an explorer's outfit with
yeah.
Mario in the battle. So some way partners, yeah, are there.
And I do think that the wheel mechanic of the battle system will probably make this more interesting than the card system. I think there's definitely something here, and if it's well executed. Obviously, it could be incredibly annoying, and people could flip and hate it. But that's something that we'll have to see when more impressions and more details come out.
Yeah, let's talk about the battle system a little bit because having played every Paper Mario game, the first few Paper Mario games, of course, very traditional RPG gameplay. There's some light action elements where you actually have to perform the moves to some extent to make them do more damage. You can dodge and all kinds of things, which makes it fun. And it was a very simple and very contained system. Honest to God, don't remember how Super Paper Mario plays. Sometimes I look at that game and wonder if it actually exists because it's just so bizarre to me. But the most two recent Paper Mario games, Sticker Star and Color Splash, are both a modified RPG combat system, just with various layers of unnecessary and cumbersome nonsense thrown in. But this is totally new.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, here's what I got from the trailer. And this probably illustrates that the trailer did not communicate anything to me. You're Mario and you stand in the middle of a bullseye, and enemies are literally maybe all around you, but maybe not. And you have to line them up to do more damage. That's all I got out of this. So I have to say that most of my opinions are not coming from oh, this isn't the Thousand Year Door sequel that I wanted, or oh, this is, more Color Splash. Honestly, this battle system really throws in a gigantic wrench in the whole thing for me, and I don't understand like what I'm even doing.
Yeah, and I think that's just because it is so unique in comparison. Like it, for all intents and purposes, is 2D since you can only attack one direction, probably. But the 3D mechanic of them being at angles and in front of you and to the sides, I think that that is going to impact the strategy of the game, of what moves you're using and items and stuff like that. And I do have a theory of combat, which I think is the masks that we see in the Stinger of the Samus hat and the DK hat. I think those are going to be. This is my crazy theory: is that they're going to be implemented into the combat somehow and act as like a final smash. Like DK hat goes on, you do like a ground pound and it attacks all around you. I think there are going to be different attacks that attack multiple directions. Like if you line them up on both sides of you or in front of you, like I think that there is going to be some unique strategy to this 3D, 2D battle system that could actually make it more engaging than we're giving it credit for.
We will be talking about that Metroid Stinger. Don't worry about that.
Okay,
We
well,
are
I
going to discuss
got
that.
that theory out of the way.
I think that's true. I think this, like you're saying, there's clearly more here.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're right about your theory, I mean, you're very smart. Underneath all of that hair, a very big brain, it hides it so well. So
Thin
you
layer,
could be very right.
thin layer of hair, actually.
Yes, that's true. Right, right, right. The point, of course, being, regardless, there's more to it. And I saw somewhere on Twitter, it might have been Nibel talking, I could be totally wrong. So if this isn't true, and it's not from him, don't quote me. The fact is, somewhere on Twitter, I saw that Nintendo's listing this as more of a puzzle action RPG hybrid thing, which is very interesting to me. I'm certainly more engaged by the concept of having to learn a new battle system than I am by some kind of quasi RPG thing before. So if this game really doubles down on being just something fresh and new and just a fun adventure game, I think it could be a lot of fun. And of course, the game looks stunning. Like some parts of this just are absolutely gorgeous. Not all of it. Like there's one scene where Mario's like in a little car or something going over these purple hills and plains, and that looked kind of bad to me. I think the aesthetic's a little bit uneven, but when it looks good, this game looks absolutely phenomenal.
That's true. I think my final point and the reason I think I was so engaged by it, I know people are complaining about the lack of original characters, that this is sort of a paperized Mario world and not much more. I do think that they are doing something unique with it. The fact that Peach is now is going to be one of the enemies with her origami version, I think is cool. I think teaming up with Bowser, who has been folded into a card, I think that is just the funniest, most random thing ever that I think I'll get a lot of laughs out of, and I think could actually help keep the story fresh. Could play into the battle mechanics. They might have if Bowser does have dialogue, they could have a fun relationship there. I think there is a lot of new and creative things in terms of the characters and the world and the origami concept that I think could make this game a lot more creative than it initially appears in this trailer. But again, the trailer didn't give us enough to go off of, so I'm kind of just speculating in terms of what I am able to see.
Yeah, I think so. I've got a couple things to say about what you just said. First of all, Bowser being a card is great, and it's a fun inversion of the storyline from the best Mario RPG, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, where they're inside Bowser. His digestive system is clarified. And this, of course, Bowser folded up maybe in Mario's pocket or something. So that I think there's gonna be a lot of fun possibilities. Say what you will about Color Splash, the game's script is very smart and very funny. And even though I don't think the dialogue in this trailer was that great, it's the same team, I'm assuming. So I think it's gonna be a very funny and very witty game. And people say this is a hot take. You might want to buckle in for this one.
All right.
The the designs in the Thousand Year Door, to me at least, don't look like Mario characters. They just look weird and bad. And I get that's part of the appeal that it's just these crazy different characters. But I think that the aesthetic in the new Paper Mario games is way more coherent and way more Mario. I would like to see a little bit more, breadth in terms of the Mario universe already represented. Like, it would have been so cool if we had seen people from Odyssey in this game. Or
Yeah.
if we'd even seen some more of the NPCs from like Galaxy, which are represented a little bit more, but having them more in the world would be really cool. But I do think that the games, especially its locations, they look really unique and very interesting. So I was pleased with the game visually. People are saying it's too much, traditional New Super Mario Brothers themes. I don't think that's really that true.
I disagree completely. Yeah.
Yeah, I get what people are talking about a little bit in terms of, oh, it's a lot of toads, and yes, you do see a lot of repeated tropes, but I do think there's a lot of freshness here, even if it is staying in a more narrow confine than people want out of the series. I don't know. I still think the game is very impressive visually, not only from an art direction perspective, but an art design perspective. I think it just looks really good. But I think that's all my thoughts on most of that trailer, the actual part involving the Origami King. Do you have anything else to say about that before we pivot a little bit?
No, I think I'm good. We've got a few final things to talk about.
Yes, there's really two things I want to touch on. The first I want to touch on is the fact that this game is at the center of a ton of rumors. So there's a couple big ones that have been tied into Paper Mario somehow or another.
Oh
The
yeah.
Mario 3D remasters are tied into the rumor with this game. I think it was game. I forget exactly what site first reported on that, but when they reported on that initially, when they broke that story, they said we're getting 3D World Deluxe, we're getting a new Paper Mario game, and we're getting all of these 3D Mario remasters. So that's on the table. The other one that's on the table that I was talking about on Twitter today is the persistent, that we're getting in 2020 a new Paper Mario game and a new 2D Metroid game.
Yep. Saw that coming.
I refuse. I refuse to believe that they put that Metroid stinger at the end of this trailer and didn't mean that as a tease for the new Metroid game. I refuse to believe that isn't true because that is so deliberate and it's just put up as a joke. It doesn't introduce a new gameplay mechanic, and it's a Metroid. I promise you, I don't often, put it out on the line here, but I promise you that this is a tease for 2D Metroid. It
Mm.
has to be. There's no coherent way that this cannot be a tease for Metroid.
I am inclined to agree. We've been hearing those rumors probably since like
January they originated, and they've been
yeah,
popping up in various forms
this whole
since.
year. Yeah. And I mean, people have just been saying that all over and over. And for me, it was either neither of them are coming or it's true. So we know part of it. So I think that is pretty likely. I think that we are going to get one in the future, whether or not that means the pandemic ends up pushing that game farther than it was intended. Obviously, most things are going to be
Yeah.
affected. It might come out this year, late this year. That's my theory. I think that if it is real, it's a October November sort of slot, which would be great. Uh, yeah, so I think you're on the right track with that. I think that promising that it'll come out is good, but promising that it might come out this year, I don't necessarily know if that was 100%, but it definitely is coming.
To not go into full Metroid discussion things or kind of keep it to Paper Mario, my theory on that is that Mercury Steam made Samus Returns on 3DS. That's a remake of Return of Samus. And that was in 2017. So my bet is that Nintendo saw how good of a job they did, how people liked that game, and contracted them to make a full 2D Metroid. That's my personal hypothesis. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. But also worth mentioning, there's a Pikmin 3 Deluxe rumor on the periphery that came back up today, and I think Paper Mario has been tied into that at some point. The point is, this for me, I'm just gonna be honest, the most exciting thing today about Paper Mario is all the things that it inadvertently either confirms or lends credence to.
Hmm.
Because the game looks fun, it looks creative. I'm gonna play it, of course. I mean, I hate to say it, Nintendo could release basically anything and I'm gonna buy it. I mean, I'm gonna buy Clubhouse games. Clubhouse games, okay. But the point is, for me, it looks fun, it looks cute, but I'm excited for Metroid. Give me Metroid. Confirm Metroid. That's what I want.
Yep.
But Tucker, the last thing I want to talk about really quickly is we're still in the pandemic. Things are a little bit crazy. Nintendo just dropped this trailer literally on a Thursday. Their year is starting to flush out a little bit. Still, they're only moving back very slowly. Now we know games through July instead of through June. Are you anticipating a lot more little trailers like this on Thursdays? Do you think this is going to happen consistently?
I think that we maybe get one more of them. I think a something like a Pikmin 3 Deluxe, that sounds like something that doesn't need to show up in a direct, would get Nintendo's plan a little farther ahead. Obviously, probably what didn't require too much development time is probably already ready. I think that's a sort of good thing, but I don't think we get much more than one, maybe two, if the second or possible third one is they're like, snipper clips, the stretchers sort of level, smaller titles. But I don't think we're getting any more big first party title announcements, like new game announcements from this. I can't see that working out for them, especially because they have to be working on some sort of direct. Whether or not that happens this summer, I think that they would want to save announcements for that, which means pushing things back on their schedule. But their direct format has worked so well, and this will be the longest amount of time between directs, but that's to be expected. And so, yeah, no, but
Yeah,
I can't see us getting way too many more of these reveals.
yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's really telling that they announced this game in a trailer because it's A, it's 2 months away, and B, it's Paper Mario. Sorry, Paper Mario is not what it used to be. Um, so I think we could get another one, maybe something for August, and it could be Pikmin 3, it could be Super Mario 3D World. If it's Super Mario 3D World, that gets us closer to more things being confirmed, so I'd love that. But the point is, I think we could get more little things. Currently, some people, specifically Jeff Grubb, who got the main direct right and who's been pr correctly predicting a lot of things for various parts of the industry for the Games Fest that Jeff Keighley's putting on for anything. He's saying that the direct is being talked about for September. Right now, that's the tentative plan. So I could see if these Mario 3D remasters are real and they're coming this year, which I'm very skeptical of just considering everything going on. I think something of that magnitude would be held for September. Because if
Yeah.
Nintendo is willing to have this short of a turnaround time for any game, I don't think it's that unlikely for them to say, okay, hey, it's September. This is what you're going to be playing this November.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to play it close to the chest, give us these little B and C tier games to just, make us slowly inch into the fall when things start to clear up in the real world so we can play more video games and not go outside, but because we want to this time, you know? So that's kind of how I'm feeling. Tucker, do you have any final thoughts about anything?
I think that this does give me a little more hope for the rest of the year. I think that in my mind, it was going to be either Nintendo really doesn't have anything until the end of the year, or we get a trickle. I don't think that there's going to be a major summer release. I sincerely doubt that. I think that we get a couple more of these tier games released and revealed within a short window. But I think the trickle is a good sign that there is something on the way that we don't know about. Like this really had not like rumors, yeah, but it had not been talked about before, and now we know it's coming soon. So I think that that's a good sign as well. But especially because this year is really just Animal Crossing, Xenoblade Deluxe, and now this. That's this year. I think that the continuing trickle means that we don't have to worry too much, but that we shouldn't expect too much more.
Yeah, I'm basically right there with you. I think quickly about Paper Mario. I think it looks fun. I'll be playing it when it comes out, but I'm way more interested in the mechanics of Nintendo's 2020 than this game itself, and I tend to agree with you. For me, this one thing that does confirm is that Nintendo is continuing their weird thing that they do where they develop games in secret, hope they don't leak, finish them, and then announce them. I have to say I like that. I don't like waiting years on end for an announcement and then a release. So these really short windows, very cool to me. The game's
Yeah.
already available for preload right now, so it's finished.
Oh, great. Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, yeah. So they've, for as much as that has leaked, they kind of played this one close to the vest to get it out, and we didn't know more about it.
Yeah.
So cool. I'm excited. It was a fun little surprise, and I'm excited for whatever we wake up to next. Probably not next Thursday. Personally, I think maybe next month we'll get the next game for August. But a good day to be a Nintendo fan. That's
Mm.
basically all I have to say.
Yep. Well, sounds good to me.
Well then, guys, thank you very much for tuning into Nintendad today. It'd be great if you subscribed, gave this video a like, commented below what you think of this game, what do you think of Nintendo's 2020. And when you're done with that, let me give you a little secret. You want to be part of the Nintendad community. We make all kinds of great content, and it's everywhere. So go head over to the description. I'm going to put a link to our website, our Twitter, and our Patreon there so you can be caught up with all the content we put out. We've got a great team. We're making great stuff. It's worth sticking around for. But Tucker, thank you very much for sticking around with me to talk about Paper Mario, and to the listener, thank you very much as well. With all that said, guys, we'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.